All right, so our academy training tonight, which we haven't done an academy training in a while, so I'm kind of excited to do one. And like, if you're new to the show, so like over the last week, we've had an influx of people new to the show. If you're new to the show and you like what we do, hey, there's a subscribe button right on YouTube. We have a podcast that you don't have to watch my laggy video. I promise I'll fix that soon. Sorry, I just like refinanced my house, so like my money is a little tight right now. Because I have a bigger house payment. But we had an influx, and so I was like, why don't we do like an academy training? Because there's going to be sealed PQs, and my belief is that they're rolling this out slowly, right? So there's 11 of them that are scheduled for this set. One of them is next weekend, actually in Chicago. If you are going to it, I highly recommend you share this video with your friends, and I will cut this down to a 20-minute segment so you guys can just have 20 minutes of us talking about sealed PQs. I'm excited. The sealed is the only format that excites me almost as much as Trilogy. Trilogies beats out sealed just because I like Trilogy's logic. But sealed is amazing. Like, I enjoy sealed so much. I have so much fun playing sealed. I play sealed more than I would play draft every day of the week. I just like it better. I think it's a lot more fun, and I get to keep. I don't have to worry about trading you the cards that are worth money, because they don't work with the decks or the leaders I have, so I don't have to worry about that. And I'll use an example. Last week, we played a draft or a sealed version of set 1. We got some set 1 boxes in at my local, and we played set 1 sealed, and I got a Vader in mine and ended up playing Boba Fett with it. But if I hadn't pulled like a Boba Fett or a Vader or something like that I could play with it, then I would never have kept that in a draft format. So long story short, we're going to have a conversation real quickly about kind of a guide to winning a sealed PQ. Now, we have a video talking about Legends of the Force stuff already. I will put a link in the description with our guide. So I have a guide that Alex built that is public knowledge. You can share it with whoever you want. You know, it's not just for us, it's for all of you, actually. Though I was made fun of at my locals when I pulled it out and was actually using it in Seal or in our pre-release. And I will tell you, I won that pre-release. So I don't know what to tell you. Like, it worked. Other than Maul was better than Alex said he was. But outside of that, like, everything else worked. Like, every piece that Alex and I talked about, like, it worked. And I wanted to do this specifically because I felt the need to, because I think sealed PQs are going to become like a bigger thing. And the rumor is, and I guess it's not like a complete rumor, but Tyler from FFG actually has stated that they are trying to work through a way to create like a world championship where you basically have to be able to run a gauntlet, where you have to play like sealed and draft as well as premier, which is crazy. That's like that. To me, that is the ultimate, like, thank you, Swoo. That is like better than Magic. That is better than every other, like, there is no game out there doing that currently. And I'm working on an interview with FFG to actually talk a little bit more about that in the upcoming months, because I would like to actually sit down with them and have like a half-hour conversation about that, because I'm that excited. Like I said, I love sealed. And I think that, like, if you want to test somebody's true skill level, can they hit all three of those benchmarks? Can you be a good sealed player, good draft player, good trilogy player, good premier player? So yeah. So enough with the Tanner rant. Let's get into our sealed discussion tonight. Tonight, I'm going to go over real quickly kind of the high level piece of it is tournaments for our sealed. And so basically when you play in a sealed PQ, your Swiss rounds will always be the sealed format. You'll get product for whatever the current set is. You're going to play all the sealed rules. There is no shift in sealed rules that we know of, except for every round you have to play the original deck that you built. So what they're going to do is they're going to make you fill out a piece of paper with your deck list, and you are required to play that deck for the first game every round. That is the only difference, I think, in a casual format. That is not required. It is not anywhere in the rules. I spent, I don't know, like an hour reading the rules, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Alex, but I'm 99% sure there is nowhere in the rules where you have to rebuild your original deck in casual format, but that is how they're currently treating it right now in PQ sealed.
I believe you're right.
Okay. The other thing is all rounds are best of 3. So what does that mean, right? Like that means you could sub in another deck, right? Like I don't know how you would have a second deck. I never get 2 decks out of sealed. Alex, have you ever gotten 2 decks out of sealed ever?
Not good ones. No.
Okay, there you go. Like, I think you get 1 deck usually, right? Like it's always 1 deck, and then you can like add a couple of cool things in.
Like you can probably do 2 decks if like you share a color that's your best color with the other one.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I'm sure like deciding the cards, they might have to like limit the sideboard or whatever. I'm sure you can't just swap out whole decks. To my knowledge, I still don't think you could swap out leaders and bases, but unless they said otherwise.
From my understanding, you can after your first game, but like the probability of that has to be like insanely low, right? Unless you just are really that bad at deck building, you built an inefficient deck to begin with. Like my nephew, like that would be my nephew. My nephew would build this deck and then he'd be like, "Oh, I don't have any turn 1 plays." And then you'd be like, "What are you doing, Xavier? What is wrong with you?" I don't mean to drag on him, but it's funny because we'll sit there when we do draft and sealed. I mean, I listen. He'll talk to people, and I'll listen, and I'll be like, "No, Xavier, no, you do not want to do that." And like, I know you're not supposed to help people, but he is only 14, and I feel bad for him sometimes because he'll be like, "Oh, this league is really cool, and I could do these weird things." And you're like, "No, do not do that, Xavier. How many turn 1 plays do you have?" "Well, with that color, I have 2. Xavier, you're never going to draw them. It'll never happen. Don't play that."
Well, again.
No, stop it, Sam. And then all rounds will be best of 3. Now, here's I like that. I actually like that. Nope, I like it.
Why do you hate it?
I think it's amazing. Yeah, why do you hate it, Sam? There you go. Tell us why you hate it.
Because sealed takes super long to begin with. You have to budget the time to plan your deck. I'm assuming you're playing the same amount of rounds as you are to regular PQ. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Then you're playing best of 3. That takes a long time over the span of a day. If you have one opponent that doesn't know what some of your cards do because he's not insanely well versed in the set, which at a PQ level might still happen, because I get my cards read at PQs all the time because, of course, I'm running like Criminal Muscle in the weirdest decks. But they're like, "What does this do?" And they look at it. They have to read it. Okay, think about how long that's going to take throughout the day. You're going to be getting out 9, 10 at night, depending on what time these things start. We have drives, so it's like I have to drive to Detroit, which is 2 to 3 hours away. So by that logic, I'm getting home at like 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning because people don't know what my cards do, because I have to take a long time to do sealed and build the deck, all that stuff. That just, best of 1 seems like perfectly fine if you're playing at a correct skill level. For me, I could be entirely wrong, and I can already tell by the head shakes I'm getting outvoted here. But
I wouldn't want to do a PQ entirely determined by the first hand that I drew.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just... it's not like it's sealed at the very beginning of the thing, right? Like at a PQ, you expect like a certain level of familiarity. You know, granted, that's not always the case. I understand that, but I think you tack on like an extra 40 minutes. But I also think rounds go a lot shorter because you only have like 30 cards, whatever. So your average like game length, I have never seen a best of 3 sealed ever go to time. You generally just can't stall out your opponent like that. You just don't have the cards. Or they don't exist in the set. Like, I can't super laser blast the board, right? So it's not like it's a total game reset. There's not a lot of, like, in this one, there's not a lot of, like, healing, right? So games aren't going super crazy.
Yeah.
And sometimes games just end really fast.
Yeah, except for yours, Alex. You told us you go like 8 rounds in your sealed. I never go 8 rounds.
The games still end fast. We're just, going back and forth real easy. I don't see how you guys finish in like 6 resources. That's wild to me.
So I'll piggyback and then we're gonna move on. I don't want to spend too long pushing Sam into the ground, but The big thing, Sam, about it is like Alex says is your one hand if it's a bad hand, because there's so much variability in sealed. Like having that one really bad hand you mulligan into a semi-secondary bad hand can just be awful. Whereas if you get to do that 3 times, that probability statistic comes down here that you're just going to draw all insanely bad hands. And if you play 3 round or three sets of games and mulligan every time and all 6 of them are like insanely bad hands, that means you built a bad sealed deck. That's the answer. Like there is not like an in between, like, oh, you just didn't see good cards. If you drew 6 different times and you didn't see enough of what you need, you did not get a good sealed. You either got a bad sealed deck or you built your deck incorrectly. One of the two. And so the other reason I like it is because sometimes, for example, and we'll talk about this in a few minutes, like when you draft or seal or play sealed, like what are you looking for? You're looking for bombs. You're looking for ambush. Well, typically you don't get 7 bombs in your deck. You don't get 7 ambush cards in your deck. And if you hit one of those and the other person does not hit one of those, the variability is so high. It's just awful. So to me, the sealed 3-round format is fine because they're still going to hold us to 55 minutes, by the way. And you could still call a judge. It's a PQ. You could call a judge if they take longer than 30 seconds around an action if you want. I don't recommend it, but you can do that. And you can ask Alex. Alex and I play pretty fast. I don't think Alex and I's games, whenever we've played each other, which I'm hoping to God we don't have to play each other until Top Cut, for Christ's sake, this next weekend. But when Alex and I play each other, we've gone to time once, period. And we play each other. We seem to play each other all the time, it seems. And then it was the same with X-Wing. Like Alex and I got paired up in X-Wing a lot. And it would be funny because Alex would sit there with his hands behind his back pacing. That's what he would do. Just so you know, like he's lucky we sit down now. That's how you could tell whether Alex has to tell, by the way, whether like when he has a really good move or like really good moves all planned out where he knows what you're going to do and he's going to win. The way he does his X-Wing stuff, I probably should not give this away in case you go to X-Wing Worlds.
It's all mind games anyways. It's fine.
But Alex, like you could tell how Alex, the stature of him and how much he paces and how he interacts with you, like where he's at in his like X-Wing play. Like that's how you know. That's how you know. Like Alex is like, yep, I've got this. I'm gonna fuck you up, or I'm screwed. I'm screwed, and I'm just hoping you don't figure out that I've screwed up and we're stuck here.
Usually an X-Wing is because my back's just giving out, so I have to move, or else I get really stiff. But yes.
Yes, he has to move.
As time goes on, the worse it gets every day.
Like, pacing around the floor.
No, he doesn't do that. It's not that bad. No. All right, so let's move on. So that's essentially sealed is going to be your Swiss. So whatever your Swiss is, whether it's 6 rounds or 8 rounds, or I guess 9 rounds if you have that many people. My belief is it's going to be a 7-round tournament. That's how it's going to be. Your top cut, though, then after your top cut is now draft. So like you get a whole nother deck. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that because I have a little bit of a qualm with the cost of some of this stuff compared to regular PQs, but we could talk about that in a second. So your draft is going to be top cut. The first thing that happens in your draft is you are not allowed to no longer look at your what you've drafted for your pack. So if you have 15 cards or 14 cards right in your hand and you put one down, you can't pick that card up and look at it again. That is in the actual rules. I literally went through the rules and I was like, holy crap, that was like in blue everything. Like Why? That's a new thing. So you can't cheat.
It slows down the draft too.
Yep. Those are the 2 reasons. So it doesn't slow down because you're on a time limit. That's the next point. They actually legally have like how long you're allowed to look at your cards in draft for a PQ, for a competitive tournament. So like you get, I think it's 30 seconds for the first hand, and then it just progressively goes down. So you get to the last, when you're down to like 2 or 3 cards, you get like 5 seconds. Pick a card and move on. Because at that point, they're all shit cards. Unless somebody's crazy and just left you something amazing. The other big thing that came out of that is there's single elimination rounds. And by the way, whoever's the higher seed picks the initiative. So that is completely different. It essentially, in my opinion, what it does is it aggressively incentivizes you to do well and not like concede and just take buys during the main event. And I think I don't know if I agree 100% with it because we haven't really played it yet to know how much that affects games.
Didn't
But
we do that in the PQ in Lansing?
no, I don't think so.
Are you sure? I'm pretty sure we did. Pretty
Maybe
sure that
we
was just
did.
a rule in PQs.
I don't think it's a rule in PQs. It wasn't a rule in the.
Could be mistaken. I just thought that's.
We might have done that, but it's not.
How it worked.
I could not find a rule on that though. It was only in the section for the draft.
Okay. Like I said, there's a decent chance that I'm mistaken. It's fine.
Yeah. I agree with you. We might have done that. I don't remember any longer. It's so long ago. But we did not. How about this? We did not do that in Indiana when I played in the PQ in Indiana. So, but anyway, so you're no longer. You now have an incentive in at least in a sealed, and I like that because like in a sealed, it gets very easy to get complacent. Like because your deck has more variability to it, like you have less of a desire, right, to play longer and like, oh, hey, I know I'm going to make top cut, therefore I'll concede and we'll just ID and move on. This actually forces you to play out your game a little bit more, which then will make it so that other people will be able to get in. A good example of that is Alex. Alex is a very good example of that. And when we played in the Lansing PQ, because I played every damn round and didn't try to ID the last round, it worked out in Alex's favor that he got moved up into top 8 over Justin. And sorry, Justin.
Justin should have just won more games.
He was very sad. Justin was very sad about that. Actually, I can't wait to hang out with Justin again. We need to plan like a dinner or something like that when after the PQ next weekend. That's what we should do. We should plan a planning phase PQ dinner. There you go. Maybe some Thai food. I hear Thai food's in our mix. All right. Anyway. All right. I'm digressing again. All right. So those are the base levels for the conversation. So before we get into any of the leaders or what we recommended, what do you guys think? Is there any questions you have about the rules? Anything you want to talk about before we move on to kind of like talking a little bit about leaders and some of that?
I'm broke. I mean, I'm a broke college student that has like $500 to last him every 2 weeks. So when I'm looking at PQs versus the one that's $35 that I'm going to have to put a lot of practice into, I lean towards that versus the ones that are like, I don't even know how much a sealed PQ is because I know that you have to buy the sealed entry and I guarantee you have to do something if you get top cut, or I don't know how it works there. I don't know how much it is, but I'm not going to spend all that on top of the drive or trip that I have to make to go to whichever one this is. Like, I'm definitely going to lean towards that if I'm on a budget. So
now I will challenge you. I'm going to challenge you for a second here. The guy that decides to buy random packs of carbonite, if you stop buying all your random packs of carbonite and your boxes of product, the sealed by at least the Chicago PQ was only $20 more. So I do agree, like there is a price difference, and we should actually talk about that because I do think that's a good point in the conversation, right? Like, are we going to get more pricing for this, or are we just paying more money? I think the difference is you get to keep cards. Do cards give you the value of the $60 or not? Or the $20 difference? I don't know. My belief is as it being only $20 more if you get sealed and draft, and on top of that, so basically you're getting 6 packs plus the other 3 packs, so you're getting 9 total packs of stuff. I don't believe I would say that it's completely awful for the price. Like $20 more is a, in my opinion, a pretty reasonable price for 9 packs of cards. What do you think, Alex?
Yeah, kind of just like a little rough because it is extra money for cards that you possibly already own or probably already do, or like if you go out play competitively, you try to build up the set as much as you could. So it's a little bit of a waste if you look at it that way. But I mean, someone has to buy the cards, right?
Yeah.
And if you're doing a sealed tournament, you know that going in. So, at least they're giving you a little bit of it. Sam?
It's, in my opinion, what I always do when I'm purchasing SWU events is I look at it like the price of a movie. If I'm paying for the entertainment for the night, is it reasonably around, like if I was going, or if I was taking somebody else to the movies with me, like $30 to $40 range max. These PQs do that. I can carpool with some people. I can sell the Bearish showcase that I just got from one of those one-off Carbonite packs. Thank you very much, Tanner. I can do a whole lot of different things.
50
But
bucks, by the way.
true. But yeah, like
That's what I'll give you.
for Barris.
Yeah.
80 and we have a deal.
No, 50.
Damn it. Okay. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I personally, I know you guys really like sealed. I am open to it. I'm just never jumping at the chance to do sealed like I am Premier, because I like being able to go, this is my deck. I've teched for this. I've planned for this. This is how I want everything to go. And obviously, when I show up with my Han 1 Data Vault deck and like 0-2 or 5-4 or whatever it is on the day, you just get wiped. That obviously doesn't happen, but I still like to have that confidence going in of, I know what I'm going to do with these lines versus I'm going to show up by 6 packs, get an Obi-Wan leader and all red and blue cards. Like, just cry about it a little bit. I don't know. So I don't know.
There's a
That's
little
just
bit
me.
of
That's just me.
like, there's a little bit of like quality of your sealed pool, but like I've had like a pre-release, right, where I had 15 force units total across every single color from this set, which is not good because his whole set's built around the force, but I still went like 4-1 because with Talzin too. If I had Snoke, I don't think I would have lost a game. But like, you know, with Talzin and stuff, so it's like you can still do well. Granted, that was also at the beginning of the set where people didn't really know exactly what's going on, but still, like, there's always going to be a little bit of a luck-based thing. But that's just life in card games in general. So
sure. Well, let's move on to what leaders we kind of talked about were good or bad. And I know Sam has a qualm with at least one of the leaders that we have on there. And I had a qualm a little bit, I think, with one of Alex's leaders. But we essentially, and again, we'll link in our notes, we'll link our original document, right? Like our original document has our original thoughts. Alex does this for us every set. Thank you, Alex, for doing that. So that is like the best thing that he does for the podcast. Like I love every time he does that. Like it benefits me, it benefits you. We do a whole conversation on it, and it's one of the
usually the first time I look at the cards too.
Yeah, it's the best because of that. But so we kind of, here's our kind of guide for like leaders. So like we're going to kind of transition a little bit away from the high level and talk a little bit more about, you know, Legend of the Force. We're not going to spend a long time on this just because like in the long run this is not going to be the forever meta, right? Like it's just not. So I don't want to like do a whole 50-60 minutes on it. You can check out our older video that talks about this. But essentially, the leaders, when you're looking at building a sealed pool, the biggest advantage leaders are going to be Talzin, Obi, and Snoke, right? Like we learned Snoke was really good, that he was a sleeper. A lot of people did not believe him to be one of the better leaders in the sealed discussion, and we kind of predicted that he would be. And originally, I had my stocks down on sealed. Or on Snoke, because he did not win anything around me until I played him, and then I won. And then I was like, okay, well, all right. I was a little
making your big units bigger is just really good.
Yeah. And I will say, like, I had to play my last game that I played with Snoke for a pre-release was a mirror, was a Snoke mirror, and you know, like it's the same thing. If you could kill their Snoke before they could kill your Snoke, you win the game. I think that's just the end of the conversation there, right? And
Inquisitor's lightsaber on him, he does a lot of work.
Yeah, he just gives you a middle finger. What we feel is probably kind of an okay, like Third Sister kind of moved down. Her hidden ability did not benefit us enough, I don't think, to make it, and she has a pretty low stat line. Ahsoka also kind of moved down a little bit. Ahsoka is still really good. I still think there's like something there. And I would probably play Ahsoka over Third Sister personally. But a lot of people have found Third Sister is able to. There's an advantage there with being able to play a unit before your other opponent, and they can't kill it, and then you could claim and then just move to the next phase. You just keep moving through, or you're forcing your opponent to not play units, and then you win the game that way. Like if they want to claim and kill the unit you had hidden, I guess so be it, right? Like you still have another unit that they didn't kill, and you get to swing with it. Like there's a million things. So Kit Fisto, we also found. I think I moved Kit Fisto up a little bit. I think Kit Fisto had a little bit more viability. He has the issue of needing that Jedi. We will 100% caveat: if you don't pull Jedis, throw Kit Fisto into the garbage. He's worthless. He's just not good.
Like his leader ability is solid. His leader flip's not that great.
Yep.
Especially if you don't have a lot of Jedi.
Exactly. Yeah. Grand Inquisitor, I moved up a little bit in the chain. I think Grand Inquisitor had a little bit more playability when I play Grand Inquisitor. It's kind of like Jin in a sealed environment. If unless your pool is completely awful, if you have a decent yellow pool, Grand Inquisitor actually hums pretty good because of the fact that you do have to get the Force where you didn't have to do that with Jin. And I will say Jin felt a little bit better because of that. But Grand Inquisitor also gives an extra negative. And in a sealed environment where you have more limited units and you have more limited people, I do think that that's usually decently good. But if you don't have any top end stuff, you can kill their board, but they just rebuild it and it doesn't do you any good. So it doesn't matter.
I think he's held back by I don't really like this set's pool for yellow. I find it pretty underwhelming. Villain a little bit better than hero, but it's just you look at Mace Windu and Caloran back, and then you look at yellow and you have I don't know, Vernestra. She's okay. You have a couple good supporter cards in yellow, but you can't really just get a really good strong Force yellow pool, I think. And that's an issue in Seal here, is that all the bases are Force, so you're kind of railroaded into doing that. Because Marchand Bro is really cool, Nihil Marauders, Auras, those are really good, but they don't generate the Force, so they're a little bit at odds with your deck.
Yes. Yeah. And then we talk a little bit about Kanan. Kanan is on the lower end. He's very good if you get a bunch of creatures. If you get a lot of creatures in the two colors that he's in, good for you.
Ezra.
Yep.
He's really good with Ezra.
So that works out very well. But outside of, if you don't get that pool, he really just, his leader ability is kind of pointless. And doesn't do anything for you. Avar Kriss is good in the fact that she can generate her own Force, but she has an insanely late leader flip. So if you aren't able to be a more control-y, mid-rangey style deck against your opponents, Avar Kriss is worthless. If you could control their units through a bunch of ambush stuff, being able to play higher value units than your opponent because you have a higher value curve, or you get some upgrades that you could slap on some of your units that will just murder them, then Avar Kriss is good, because once Avar Kriss comes out, you lose the game. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, she swings for 8, and that's pretty backbreaking, and she has Overwhelm.
Yeah. So she wins you the game. But you have to get there. And I think that's the bigger thing. Now, I will say, if you get that 25 health base that allows you those 3 Force tokens and her, and if you have decent green cards, it'll be fun.
Because it's a mono green deck at that point.
I would 100% play the hell out of that. But I would play that in the CLPQ if I have enough green units. But
give me some Oppo in there.
Yeah, like an
and
Oppo.
The ship, the Acclimator ship or whatever that is.
Yeah, I got
pulled
3 of them.
Oh, I was gonna say my buddy pulled 2 Oppo and that ship in sealed, and he's like, do I just do mono green? He didn't, because that was rough, but it was pretty funny that he's just getting all these double green cards. He's like, it's a possibility. Not so much.
And then in our possibly bad is Cal, and yes, Sam will come back. Give me just a second. We'll come back and have a conversation about Cal. We have Kylo, because Kylo is so dependent on upgrades. I just put him in bad. I just don't think Kylo's good unless you get a bunch of upgrades. Barris is kind of the same thing, and kind of Anakin. Like we originally thought Anakin would be a little bit better because you could play all the off-colored villain removal, and there's just not enough, I don't think, in this sealed pool to make Anakin that viable. I don't think so. And Morgan,
like events aren't strong enough. Like craving power is great, but like it's just the other stuff doesn't really compile into a really cohesive deck.
Yeah. And we don't even talk about Morgan. That's a JJ thing.
We tried, man. We tried.
And I think Rey is borderline unplayable. Like, I think you play Rey if you have a lot of red and she's your only hero red, then just play her. But her leader ability does nothing. And Revan, unless you get a million villain unit cards, I just think that Revan just doesn't, like, his leader ability is very good. But he's just not good if you don't have the cards for it. So I don't know what to tell you. Like, if you get 6 Kylo Rens or something, I don't know, maybe that's good.
A couple Malaks, and a bunch of lightsabers, and really good cards in only one color.
And then I put Qui-Gon and Maul in band, and that's only because you have to pull their show. Basically, the only way to play them is to pull a showcase for them. So if you pull a showcase for Maul, play him. If you pull it for Qui-Gon, do not play him.
I mean, still play him because he just opened a showcase at a PQ sealed.
Nope. I want to win my PQ sealed. I do not want to play Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon is not the answer, and PQ sealed, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Maul, on the other hand, stocks up in Maul, baby. I love.
Yeah.
You say that. I went undefeated with Maul, so.
You can go undefeated with Morgan. Doesn't make her good.
I disagree a little bit. If I went undefeated with Morgan, I'd be toting Morgan's capabilities. But all right, so Sam, let's talk a little bit about Cal, and then we're gonna kind of move on to a few basics, things that we can cover, and then we're gonna close out the topic. But we put Cal in possibly bad. Cal has horrible stats. You have to have a lot of force units to be able to get the force to use his ability. We found that you do not get, like, I played 4 sealed events for Legends of the Force and did not have enough stuff to build around Cal.
Yeah, I mean, I will give you that. You need the right yellow and blue 2-drops, 3-drops, 1000%. But if you pull 1 Secretive Sage, 1 Mysterious Hermit, and you fill the rest, boom, I'd run Cal right there. If you pull 2 of either of those 2, boom, I'd run that right there. Cal for a 4-drop, 3/4, not great. If you played him in Premiere, he is getting open fired and you just concede. Like, there's just not much you can really do in that game. But when you're playing in Sealed, you're playing against limited card pools of what both players get. You're playing with not great cards usually. Like, you want to play an Ezra on 3, or I can't even say a good yellow 3-drop that's in this set, because I don't really think there's almost any good yellow in this set. But you need the right blue. It's like Chancellor Palpatine right now. Where is that?
It was like Vernestra is an okay 3-drop, but doesn't work super well with Cal, because you need to spend the force to bring her up. I guess you can swing after and then try to exhaust, but that's a lot of plays before your opponent exhausts all their guys.
Exactly. In Sealed, I find myself playing a lot on curve. Yeah, really? Exactly. I mean, I find myself playing on curve. I find myself playing 2-drops when I need to, 3-drops when I need to, 4-drops for a little iffy this set, unless you're in Green Hero and playing Eth Koth, and then 5-drops and on, unless I'm playing multiple units past the 5-drop spot. Cal works really well 2, 3, and 4. Mysterious Hermit turn 1, you already have the force. They're probably going to swing and get the force back. You play a 3-drop, don't attack with the Mysterious Hermit, claim going into the next.
Youngling Padawan, the one that gives you the force?
Exactly. Youngling Padawan.
Yeah, like, cause that's also just, that gives you the force as well. You don't have to ambush in.
Exactly. And then you just basically play out the fact that you can exhaust whatever you need them to exhaust. They're probably going to swing with their lower health units first, thinking that they're going to be defeated, because I know that's how I was when I played against Cal in my sealed and got absolutely demolished when he then just taps down my leader because I didn't swing with that first. Or, I don't know, Cal is very, very underrated. He is not tier 1 by any means whatsoever. But if you're trying to tell me that you would take Grand Inquisitor over Cal in a sealed environment, I think you're crazy. I think there's no way.
I would take any of my other 4 leaders over both of them, honestly, but I don't think Cal outputs enough damage to do it, even if you get like a really good yellow card pool for him, which we already discussed isn't that great in this set. I guess maybe I play sealed differently than you. I don't usually play on curve. I just play multiple units because that's just much more difficult for my opponent to generally deal with. So it's already like a little bit against Cal. If I could just choose my Lothcath to exhaust instead, right? Like something, my 2/6 Outer Rim Mystic doofus guy. I don't know. I don't think he has enough impact.
The Life Wind Sage for 4? Beautiful.
It's probably the best yellow card, neutral card they have.
Exactly. That is one of my favorite cards in the set. Because of Cal, because of Thrawn 1, because of like all the different exhausting that we get in yellow.
Or if they play a unit at all that turn.
Exactly.
Yeah, but like one unit's not going to save the whole deck.
That is true, but there are other units, right? Like you're playing Youngling Padawan into Vernestra, swing with any of them, get that force back into the next where Cal that immediately taps something, deploy, immediately taps something, because you have 3 units by this point that you're getting the force back. You're tapping 2 units in a turn if you're playing the swarm that you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not hard to kill things.
Yep, you're convincing me here, buddy.
All right.
Although I do have a bone to pick with Tanner with the Kylo placement. I think he's at the lower end of probably okay. Because a lot of the equipment is common. And you can shove it in there for when he flips. But also, I guess your games just end at like 6 resources, so you never get to flip Kylo. Maybe that's the issue.
It could be. Yeah, I don't. I did not get ever good pools. I think Kylo's going to be a little lower anyway because he's a rare, right? He's not even a common. So, and maybe that's why it's because we don't see him as much. So,
I don't think he's bad. I don't think he's great. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think he's like in the same level as like Anakin, Morgan, Barriss, Cal. I think he's more on the level with Kanan.
Fine, fair enough. I guess I can concede that point. You could make him.
Yeah, I mean, if Kanan's only good because of deck composition, then same argument for Kylo.
Except for Kylo doesn't come out till 7, and that's the issue I have is because he doesn't come out till 7. It's hard to utilize any of his tactics. Like,
but he has a Sentinel when he comes out.
Sure, he does.
So it slows down the game, so you can actually recover. In theory,
maybe. If I'm just playing hero, I'm just going space, baby, and it sucks to be you. Like, all right, whatever. I'll just drop 3 space units and.
Okay, well, they'll all swing for 1 because the space in this game is garbage. In this set, but okay. Unless you get like the really good mid-range hero ones.
Yeah, I don't know. I have not found, especially because if I have that ravenous 8-eyed beast guy, right? I could drop that on 5.
Ranthar?
Yeah, I don't know what it's called. 5 is it 5 or 6? I could drop it on 5 or 6.
You talking about.
Well, it's an 8/5 unit. If you don't have a way to kill it right away, like it's just boom. It's just gonna like you. Oh no, your Kylo's there. I'll just kill your Kylo with this unit.
Oh, the Ravenous Rathtar.
Yeah,
5 for 6.
Yeah, like whatever. Like you have to kill it before you drop your Kylo, and so I don't know. I only played against one Kylo, and it did not seem very good. So I'm gonna stick with my guns and say if you get an amazing throw shit in your discard pile, deck and a control deck, then go ahead. But I don't know if I agree that he's going to shine. But
again, would rather take Talzin.
No, yeah, 100%
for sure. But sometimes blue villain is your best fool, and you don't open a Talzin.
All right, let's talk about some of the key points, and then we're going to wrap this up, because I think the big thing is you can watch our other segment that talks a little bit more in depth about LOF. And I guess if you guys really want us to, like, we could do a more in depth where we talk about some of the cards, and maybe like Alex and I could build something together and play each other on webcam. We could do that if you wanted. But for now, I think the big thing is leaders with raw stats are usually good. The deploy cost of your leader is always like a high consideration. Like, I don't want to wait till 8 resources to deploy AVAR credits if I don't have to, or 9 resources now. There's that type of a thing. Whereas like Cal comes out at 3 or 4 resources, which is great, right? Except for he doesn't have a leader ability if you don't have the way to get the force. So he just doesn't do anything, and he's just a 3/4 that dies to everything, like everything. And then the other big thing is how do you build to curve? How many turn 1 plays you have? Like, that's a big thing. Like, my nephew likes to build with like 6 turn 1 plays and call it a day, and that's just not how you build the sealed deck. And
theoretically, 6 ain't too bad in a 30 card deck, because that's 1 for every 5 cards. So technically, it should be okay.
It should be okay, but it never works for him. So
yeah.
The other thing is what are your bombs? Are your bombs amazing? Is it something like, does your bombs have ambush on top of that, right? Did you pull a bunch of Qui-Gons? Did you pull a bunch of Depas? Like in the other sets, it was Plo Koon, right? Like, we all very underestimated Plo Koon in Sealed. A lot of people did, and we're like, we don't want that guy. And it's like, no, Plo Koon was amazing in Sealed. For that, I love that set. Actually, we should go back and play that set again. Anyway,
Twilight.
Yes, I love that. I love sealed versions of that set. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, they've been pretty good designing their sealed. Actually, I think this set is the worst one that I've played for sealed out of any of the other 5. Just because you're so railroaded by that force mechanic, so you lack a lot of flexibility.
Yeah, and while they did work to build a lot of force mechanics into their units, I still don't think it's as robust as it could be. And the problem is if it was more robust, it would break Premiere.
Sure.
And the last point is removal, right? Like, what suite do you have removal in? Removal now comes in a lot more suites than just blue. So like, you don't have to just play blue to get removal. The red has removal, yellow has some removal, that type of thing. And I think that's the big thing. Like, when you look at all your cards, what pool gets you the biggest percentage out of all of them? So if you take those 4 categories, what are your bombs? What are your ambush units? Right, and then what are your removal category, and then where is your biggest curve, and you take those and scale that. That's how you would build your sealed deck, and like based on what your pool is how you kind of build around that. And I will tell you, like, if you pull 1 Anakin and have no blue turn 1 plays, I don't know if you play blue, right? But if you have 4 shatter points, maybe you do play blue because you got 4 shatter points, and like nobody else has that. And I think that's always a big thing. Like when we played JTL, I think like Twilight was my favorite sealed format, personally. And I think JTL is the second behind that. Like JTL, hands down, was so much. The pilots and knowing whether you had a pilot was so much fun.
I enjoyed them.
Yeah,
that's an opinion.
You didn't like JTL?
No, JTL is top of the list. Twilight is on the bottom for me.
What?
There's no way I
Why?
ever want to play a Twilight sealed again.
Why?
I don't remember which podcast it is, but I listen to all the podcasts when I'm doing my drives. And one of them just broke it down the other day. I want to say it was the Nordic Fleet or the Nordic Takedown. And they looked at the cost analysis of how much each unit costs for what their ability is and their stat line and everything in each set. Twilight was over like, I think it was double worse than the baseline, which is set 1, and over like triple worse than I think it was last set. I'm not sure, but it was like substantially bad. And I was looking at that like, yeah, I've never really enjoyed a Twilight one, even though I've never lost a Twilight sealed event. I've shown up and won every Twilight sealed event I've gone to. That doesn't make it good. That doesn't make it fun. That just means that I got a good card pool. Like, oh yeah, I pulled the Plo Koon and the Quinlan together. Like, okay, cool.
I mean, like, at least the set itself is self-contained, right? So everything's pretty underwhelming. So at least that's like relatively balanced. But I mean, I enjoyed it. Like trying to go for coordinate a lot more than exploit. Exploit was pretty rough and sealed.
Yeah,
I think Tanner just really liked playing Ahsoka.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I did. I like Ahsoka. It was fun. She is Ahsoka. I don't know. That's my favorite time era in Star Wars for the most part. So, all right.